welcome to the Wild
Hello.
West podcast. Hello. And we are going to go ahead and jump right into it today. Uh, Obviously, a very interesting week for our division, having Broncos lying in wait in the first seed and Chargers playing in Wildcard weekend. And then obviously getting the Raiders' perspective on some of the additional news with their coaching search that is in full swing and in full effect. We will get into all of that on today's show on the Wild Wild West. And of course, we will close out the show with our collective analysis on the Bills-Broncos game coming up this weekend, which is going to be a game for sure. That's going to be an interesting one. So we'll get into all of that on today's show. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are joining us live, thank you very much for doing so. If you could help us reach other fans just like yourself, click a like button down below, use those little thumbs up. If you join us after the fact, that is awesome too. Leave a comment down below, giving us some feedback or telling us how great we are. We always appreciate that. And we will go from there. Over that away here is DZ representing his Los Angeles Chargers. Down below, we got Nabman representing his Las Vegas Raiders. And we are still in talks with a couple different Chiefs guys. I'm hoping to have someone soonish on the show. That'd be great to round out the fourth team in our division. But let's get going. DZ, I think your subheading underneath your name sums up likely your thoughts on things. But
I'm so sorry, bro.
Let's get into it.
That was it literally was deja vu to me watching that game. Like, now looking back at last season, I don't necessarily, everybody was counting Houston out, but this was the Patriots, the number 2 seed, with the supposed MVP, yada yada yada. I was going in this game pretty confident, and boy, did that confidence it was like the hourglass sand meter was just, my confidence was just draining as the game went on, and the more times I kept seeing the defense have to, kind of pick up the slack, I was like, you just saw the writing on the wall, what was going on. And I was ticked off. I was pissed off a little. I was disappointed. The offense was just atrocious again. We saw this last year in Houston, and then we saw it this year in New England on a Sunday night game. And it didn't need to look that bad. I mean, if we were going to lose, but getting your doors, I don't want to say doors blown up, but 16-3, some weird score. I don't think any of us predicted a score like that, but not even scoring a touchdown on offense, just looking like utter dog crap. And I'm like counting the minutes, because I know you're not supposed to say any cuss words within the first 10 minutes. So yeah.
That's why I don't get a talk within the first 10 minutes in here.
I wish I went second. Let's just say that, Nav. I was really pissed off, and the fan base was pissed off, and rightfully so. I'm mad. I was mad at Justin Herbert. He deserves all the hate that comes his way to an extent. I hate having to make excuses.
Yeah.
I hate having to do it, and I'm not talking about the Jacksonville. I leave that playoff game out of everything, because that was a completely different team, completely different regime, everything. So I go back to Houston. It was the same thing in Houston, and then in New England or Foxborough, it was like the lights were too bright for him, and the offensive coordinator and the offensive line sure didn't do him any help. And after that game, that's who the fan base wanted to attack. There was a lot of attacks going towards Herbert, rightfully so. I was just to stick off at him, Houston, as I am about him with this last game. He's a great regular season quarterback. Just something's going on when they get to the playoffs with this regime. Well, they're not going to fire their quarterback. They're not going to, do anything with him with that. But what they did do is they fired the OC and they fired the offensive line coach. The offensive line coach, the one of the worst offensive lines these last couple of years. And yeah, they did get thrown with a curveball at the beginning of the season, losing their 2 tackles. But we've seen other teams adapt and not have as nearly as piss poor offensive line play as the Chargers have. And then Greg Roman, it was interesting. The players had their exit interviews, and there was O-linemen complaining, which they shouldn't complain. They should just pack their stuff and just leave the facility. But you had wide receivers complaining about his system all year, and especially in that game. And just, it wasn't just them. There's analysts, all over X, all the little nerds and stuff that do all their stuff. And they're like, this is a joke, like watching, having your receivers run in the same areas and whatnot. So they fired him. So that's good.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Is this the first time Greg Roman's been fired?
No, I think this will be his 3rd time.
Mm-hmm.
And the Ravens fans warned us, but as a fan, there's nothing we can do about it, right? But they warned us about this.
But it's worth saying, is it not?
Sure, 100%, yeah. He's been with Jim ever since Jim's been in the NFL, and the thing. Let's see. Where was I? I was going. Okay, here we go. Now Herbert. I'm sorry. We got off with Greg. So here we go. Let's do something on Greg. Greg has been with the Ravens and Chargers. He's been in 7 elimination games. Yeah. In those games, the points that they have scored has been 20. Not bad. 17, 13, 12, 12, 3, and 3.
Oh, wow.
A 1-5 record. 55% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, 8 interceptions.
With Justin Herbert.
No, that's with Lamar and Justin.
Lamar and Justin Herbert. That's your record. Come on, dude. You're done.
Look, I don't want to put all the blame on him because they did get to 11 wins back-to-back seasons. But he is a big part to blame. Like, I'm with everybody who is on the outside looking in. I'm putting some of this blame on Justin because he looked like a deer in headlights in a lot of this game, not trusting, throwing deep. I mean, he lost 2 fumbles, which that was a lot of scouting going into this, that he would lose fumbles, especially with his hand and whatnot, whatever. So he lost a fumble. We lost 2, gained 1 back, and then lost 1, turned it over. So he'll be on in 26 going into next season. He'll be on his 5th OC in 7 years. I think it's 7 seasons. So not great, right? You don't want to have your young quarterback, or not so young anymore, have a revolving door of offensive coordinators. But I was actually, in a big chat I'm in, I was more excited about getting a new offensive line coach because Mike Devlin should have never been hired in the first place. You look at him and Greg Roman's resumes when they were hired with the Chargers, they were all piss poor with the, one slight, favorable season for Greg Roman. Greg Roman did have at one time with the Ravens the number 1 scoring offense.
He did.
But that was just the one, that was the anomaly, right? But Mike Devlin has had he's been a bad offensive line coach since he's been in, essentially. So who they hire, I have no clue. Just like the Raiders looking for their new head coach and their new staff, and Nobody knows. We can all speculate and guess and whatever. There's some guys I like, but we can get into that later. But hats off to the Patriots because they really didn't need to do much in this game. They smelled blood in the water.
And they didn't do much. Do much.
No, they smelled blood in the water, and they're like,
they actually sucked. They actually sucked.
Yes, I'm not gonna be a poor loser, so I'm not gonna be that. But
they did not play well.
Yeah, I feel terrible for my defense. The Los Angeles Chargers defense, especially in this late part of the season, have been excellent. They have been so good, and to get hung out to dry by your offense, it's inevitable that you're gonna give up scores. I mean, we had the guy that we got from the Ravens, he had 3 sacks in this game. He set a franchise record in the postseason with 3 sacks. He'll be a free agent, so he says he wants to come back, but that's player talk, right? But I feel horrible for them. And now, Minter, our defensive coordinator, he's had I guess all 9 teams, because there's 9 head coach openings, right, have requested to interview him. So he's as good as gone. And
yeah, you saw that? All of them, every single one. That was nuts.
So he's as good as gone, and good for him. He's a young guy. I like him. I like his style. And people are like, well, he hadn't won in the playoffs. I mean, look, dude, there's 2 sides of the ball. I mean, technically there's 3 sides of the ball if you want to count special teams.
Yep.
There's only so much he can do. And what he was able to do last year was equally as impressive as and this year they turned it up a notch. So where he goes, I have no clue. And then who our next DC is, I have no clue. At the same time also, guys, is you're not going to just lose Jesse Minter. He's probably going to take some players away. He's probably going to take some coaches away. You know what I mean? Some guys are going to follow him to wherever he goes, and they'll get promotions or whatnot. So it's going to be interesting offseason, to say the least. And I'm also pissed off at Jim Harbaugh for hiring these 2 dipsticks, not Jesse, but Mike and Greg in the first place, and thinking, that his 2010 scheme is going to work in 2025. So let's get with the times. I was kind of hopeful with Greg because he said he took a year off. Let's just face it, he didn't have any job offerings. And if it wasn't for Jim, he probably would still be sitting at home on the sofa. But, he did this whole interview thing saying, I took a year off to reflect and kind of see like which way the NFL is going. And I think stat wise that was unequivocally not true, because I think back-to-back seasons, the offense hasn't been where it should be, especially with a quarterback like Justin. And then to just how they look in the playoffs is, I don't want to say embarrassing for myself, because look, I don't play for them, but they should feel embarrassed on the offensive side of ball. Like, just it was piss poor, man. So congratulations to Vrabel's Patriots. They're gonna they're playing the Texans, right?
Yes, they are.
Ooh, they could win that one, because I don't believe in the Texans offense at all. The Texans defense is still nuts. You know what? If the Texans offense can get them, say, 2 touchdowns and a field goal, I feel comfortable with the Texans winning that, because the Patriots offensive line was getting bullied. So yeah, there's that.
So I have a question. Real quick.
Rock and roll.
We just got past the 10-minute mark. Just saying. In the chat, all you all talking shit, I want every one of you to say what team you are with. The Nation, of course, I know those. But which ones are you? There's this Mr. Drake May dude in here. Obviously a Patriot fan. Was he a Patriot fan last year? Probably not. But he is now.
I don't have a problem with Drake May. I think he's going to be a great young
quarterback. I'm just saying. I just don't like when people decide to be fans when it's time to be fans.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
100%.
I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah, that's.
You either are or you aren't.
Yeah, I think that's the younger generation.
So I want the chat. We're even the Raiders guys. Put in the chat who you're affiliated with. What's your team? Put it in the chat there because I really want to see what's going on here. Are you willing to even say it? I mean, maybe you are, maybe you aren't. I will tell you the Chargers. The Chargers. I'll give you the excuses. DZ, hey, Rich, is it okay if I go with the Charger game now?
Well, Nav, and then there's another guy I feel really horrible about.
DZ, please go ahead.
Real quick, and then you didn't jump in. Is another guy I feel terrible about is Khalil Mack. He's never won a playoff game in his career, and so yeah. And there's speculation that he's just going to retire. I guess there's people have seen some cryptic stuff with him and Derwin James. But then at the same time, there's rumors that he can go back, that he'd like to go back to Chicago and have one more hurrah season. I mean, he's still got juice, but it's like, is he willing? Is he want to go out and do it? I mean, the guy, he doesn't have the speed, but dude, he can bully a left tackle, so that's another guy I just feel terrible for. And then I forgot somebody, and you guys are probably going to be surprised about the player I'm going to talk about. There was a player in our game against the Patriots that was a guy that Justin was leaning on that failed miserably throughout the game. I mean, he was making some business decisions. And the thing is that the organization made it a point the week prior to make sure that he got his incentives, and he made $1 million in his last game.
Yeah.
And he's probably going to go down as arguably he's the best statistical Chargers receiver ever to play for the Chargers. And that's Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen, what he did in that Patriots game almost equally pissed me off with on the same level as Justin. I was like, he was in the end zone where he could have a touchdown. He didn't even jump for the ball. He was letting balls come right out of his hands. This guy is third. He was third in Keenan all season, like Mr. Reliable. And for some reason, it wasn't wet weather out there. The field was wet. Our DBs were slipping all night. So that's another thing. But I do not want him back next year.
Effort and a slick ball are two different things.
Yeah, I do not want. I'm like, just retire, bro.
I'm glad you said that because I was going to mention it.
And he also Lad McConkey kind of took a step back with the addition of Keenan, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. If we had a better OC, they could have probably made things work. But I want Lad to become more of the focus point of the offense, opposed to an old 30-something-year-old guy. Go ahead, guys.
So I have two things in this, and I'm actually very interested in both of your kind of responses. I'll just blast through both real quick and kind of get your takes on both. Number one, I was very surprised that they left Bozeman in the game. That's kind of my thing there. I saw that dude was a turnstile, actually had more resistance than he does. And so I'm trying to figure out what other analogy to use for what I saw on the field, because I'm not going to lie, every time I watched the guy just literally waltz up into Justin Herbert's face, and I bet you if I actually analyzed the sacks, I was doing so a little bit as the game was going on. I had 4, and I wasn't actually really trying to assess. That was just ones that were so blatant that I was like, that was on Bozeman. And it was just bad, like objectively bad. So that was number one. My other one is on Ladd McConkey and offensive scheme. I'm not sure I would want Ladd to be like the go-to guy on a permanent basis, and I'm kind of looking at to what Navman's team did with what was that dude that you guys had for a few years? What?
Oh, you mean Trey Tucker?
No, you had
Jacoby
another dude.
Myers?
No, the other guy before him.
Oh, Devontae? No.
Oh, what the heck's that guy's name? He's gonna kill me now.
Oh, Renfro.
Renfro.
Yeah.
So I see Renfro and McConkey being somewhat similar in some regards, where they're kind of shiftier, slightly smaller wide receivers.
I love Renfro.
Renfro was the bomb. Like this is the thing. I will never admit this again, and so it's unfortunately this is recorded. Like I was rooting for the guy. He was a dude that was a legit skilled, did the dirty work sort of thing, and did it really well. And then so when I was looking at Ladd McConkey, I kind of see him as like a more modern version of like a Wes Welker, a replacement for like a Renfro, someone who is got a similar skill set that can kind of span multiple roles on the team, but is ultimately a little bit too small in frame to take on that like true like number one main game made guy.
Well, yeah, I don't think he should be a number one. Let me answer these questions. Bozeman, if you were to put a picture of him and maybe say like Adolf Hitler, Charger fans might pick the guy from Austria who was a painter. They hate this guy like with a passion. And he needs to be gone, be done with him. You have enough proof to know that this guy is not a starting caliber center in this league. I think he was ranked 32. I think he was ranked like 35 or something out of starting centers. Like that's how bad he was, but they kept running it back with him.
Mm-hmm.
Insane. But go back to Ladd. Ladd, his rookie year was fantastic. Remember, no Keenan,
yes.
right?
Yep.
No Trey Harris either.
Yeah,
that's another guy, Trey Harris, who was barely involved, who has probably some of the best hands on the team, but they just use him differently. Now, with a new OC, we'll see where this direction goes. I don't view Ladd as a number one. I view him as a good number two, good number three kind of guy. And then him and Renfro, yeah, they're similar because they're white, but they did different things. I like Renfro's mentality. I like Ladd's mentality. I think Renfro might have been a little more versatile, to be honest with you. But Ladd he was clipped at the knees this season. He did study, I think it was long-time Seattle wide receiver? Lockett. He studied remember, we talked about this early in the season, how to get the ball, how to fall down, not take hits and things like that.
Lockett or Baldwin?
Lockett.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tyler Lockett.
Okay. Yeah, he was studying him, like the ways, like catch the ball, get down, like don't take it necessary hits. So he really didn't have a great season. I mean, look, last year in the Houston game, he had 197 yards. That doesn't happen by accident. But
no.
This year, it just was a bad year for him. So I hope they bring in somebody that utilizes his skills. But I agree with you, Richie. I don't see him as a number one. I don't think we have a number one on this team right now. We'll see what happens, going into next season. I think we have a bunch of 2s and 3s or, high-end 3s right now.
Yep.
But, yeah.
Yeah, so my thought was if you had someone else kind of spelling him, and then my last point and question was you have Andre James, if I'm not mistaken, as your backup or secondary center there. I'm not saying he's an answer, but let's be real. He would have been better than Bozeman.
I think Bozeman has blackmail.
Probably.
I think Bozeman worked for Mossad and has blackmail on somebody on this staff because they refused to use Andre James until Bozeman had like concussion. Then they used Andre.
There's a reason. why they didn't want to use him. He sucks.
So Andre James did get to play. The fan base was like, yes, we get to see Andre James play because that's how bad Bozeman was. And I watched Andre James, and that dude might as well have the legs of like a teenager or something. He cannot plant. He cannot set his guard. He gets just pushed right back. And so I think that he's also probably out of here this next offseason as well. But yeah, that's a lot of guys that you're probably going to have to replace. Now,
hey, here's the thing. Somebody said in here, hold on. And I tried to actually type it in, and for whatever reason, StreamYard said no. Apparently, it was a little bit too much. But let's see, where was that?
Who do we want to pull up?
Like, so do you want to get rid of Justin? I said, look, I'm going to give you the answer here in just a minute. So you're in a playoff game, and here's the stats on what Justin Herbert felt in this game. Okay. 16 pressures, 11 hits, and 6 sacks. Come on. You can't.
The thing is, though,
it don't matter who the hell the quarterback is at this point.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
There's two sides of that coin. Nav, there's two sides of that coin because in the first quarter, or even say going into the, I don't want to say the first half, but first quarter, maybe some of that second quarter, the Patriots were still like, okay, like this is still a game, and they weren't really smelling the blood in the water. And when I say smelling the blood water, for the people in the chat that don't know what that means that they can see a weakness and they start attacking the weakness. Once the Patriots D coordinator, I forget his name, I don't even know who he is, but once he was like, oh wow, like they are really struggling here, that's when he started blitzing like crazy. He was like blitzing every other play, bringing guys from everywhere. And thank you, Spillane. Raider Nation know this guy. I'm glad he said what he said on his presser. He said that Chargers players came up to him and said, we didn't even know what coverage you guys were in. Like, just showing how unprepared they were on the offense. So I'm like, thank you, Robert, because that probably also helped to get these guys fired as well. So,
and that's the other part. The other part is this. It's like every time Herbert got the ball in his hands from the very first snap on offense, he got absolutely freaking destroyed. Yeah. And then as a quarterback, you're going to have to think about that the rest of the game. You know, and you start getting a little happy, you know, about, and once I snap this ball, or I'm getting engulfed or what. And I'm going to tell you what, the New England defense is okay. Mm-hmm. They're not that damn good.
No. I agree with you. Their
line is not a playoff offensive line.
No.
Justin Herbert is a playoff quarterback. Just needs an offensive line to freaking give him 2.5 seconds, not 1.2. 1.2 seconds was his average. That was his average throw.
I agree.
Under pressure.
I'm a diehard Chargers fan. I've been that way since I was a kid. I really love Herbert. I think he's fantastic. I have not seen it up here yet between the ears in these playoff games. We'll see.
Where do you what now? Early on in the season, Joe Alt and your boy that got hurt, Slater. Early on in the season, they were freaking killing him because he had a little bit of time, right?
Yeah.
What was your 7 games? What was your record?
Well, we started.
I think you were. No, 7 games. I think you were 5-2.
Yeah, we started 3-0, then we stumbled, and then
Slater went out. Slater went out, and then Alt moved to the left side. Then he got hurt. And then it was a revolving door in the offensive line.
He got hurt, and then
can't sit and blame anything on Justin Herbert. At this point, you got to have somebody in the NFL who's going to block for you a little bit.
I mean, at this point, Nav, like, I agree with what you're saying, and I appreciate what you're saying as well. At this point, he has surpassed Andrew Luck in getting hit and, all that stuff. And there's even rumors or people are saying, like, which I kind of agree with them because of all the money he's already made, that they wouldn't be surprised if Herbert just hangs up the cleats because he's always wanted to be a doctor and goes back to school and gets his doctorate. Him and Madison Beer run off to their ranch or whatever and do their thing. So, we'll see. You're being nicer than I am, to be honest with you.
No, all I'm trying to say is there's no quarterback in the NFL that can actually function well in the pocket or in anywhere else that has 1.5 seconds to make it happen. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is when you have that little time. 1.5 seconds is not enough.
I don't know what David's saying here.
2.2, something like that is okay.
He's saying I have PTSD, or does Justin have PTSD?
Look, the thing about it is Zahn, he just throws shit out there to see what sticks. So don't try to analyze that stuff. He's my boy, love him no shit. But the KC fan that his KC rep doesn't even bother bringing his face in here.
And you're right.
KC, I got nothing for that.
And he's right. Mahomes did win a Super Bowl with a terrible O-line, but he also had a great play designer, which the Chargers did not have. He also had an Andy Reid offense. So there's that as well.
Can we actually lean into that a little bit? So if you look near the end of the game, as they were kind of trying to play catch up there at the end, I have a couple questions for you, and this is actually going to be a little bit of a shot at Harbaugh. One of them is going to be an overarching one, just in general. So as an example, Harbaugh is the head coach.
Yep.
And at some point in the game,
offensive
as
one.
the head coach, sure. But as a head coach, regardless of which side of the ball, you're supposed to be the CEO of the team that's on the field there, right? You're supposed to basically say, if my special team guy is screwing up, I'm stepping in to kind of cover the slack. If my DC, basically Jesse Minter, he just says, go do your thing. And Jesse just fine. But on the offensive side of the ball there, it was very clear that you were struggling in a big time. And my one question for you was, at what point did Chargers fans then turn to Harbaugh and say, you're in the fight of your life to stay in the playoffs, having come off an overperforming season? At what point in this whole process do you step in, tell Greg Roman to sit down and shut up, and then be the one to call the plays yourself, or do something, or go to your secondary OC or something to that effect? Like, at some point, the general needs to be the general, and or basically say, I'm kicking the general out because I'm the president. So general, you're gone. Have a seat. New general, step in. Let's go. Like, he's got to make those tough decisions in the moment. And I do wonder where the Chargers fans sit when it comes to a comment like that. I'll throw that one over to you first, and then I got a second one in a similar vein, which I think is probably where you thought I was going to go with it at first.
I mean, I think with Jim, I think the fan base, or I'd say the majority of the fan base, really keyed in on Greg and Devlin. But, in that playoff game, I would have loved, and we don't know, Richie. I don't think we'll ever know. Maybe in the summer we'll hear some things, some reports come out, some beat writers get some juicy tidbits. But I would have been like, Greg, put the headset down and pass it over to Marcus Brady or whatever. What does he say? Harbaugh's a great motor, but I don't know about his X's and his O's. I mean, you would think he'd be great. He was a freaking QB in this league for quite a decent time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have been like, I would have passed it over to Marcus Brady and been like, Marcus, you're calling plays now. Greg, shut up.
No, I wouldn't have. I would not have. I would not have done that. I would have. If I was Jim Harbaugh, I'd have put that damn headset on myself.
That's exactly it. That's kind of where I was going. Yeah.
Yeah. But there's been some time.
I'm just saying.
And look, here I'm going to say something too, and this is another reason why I'm glad there's not that many Charger fans that follow me in this show. But there's some stuff that Jim does that I actually said this today in some chats. He's been bad at game management damn near these last 2 seasons. And
we're
I'm
almost
like,
where I was going to make my second comment with that one. So
I don't see your point there, though.
Well,
to be honest with you.
He's essentially, Jim's role is essentially the game manager. He's letting the OC do his thing. He's letting the DC do his thing. He's saying, hey, should I challenge this? He is not really calling either side of the ball. He's there to be that motivator that, I'm the boss. You guys listen to what I say. Greg, you're my right-hand guy. Jesse, you're my left-hand guy. I wish he was more involved with the offense, to be honest with you. And also, I don't know for 100 if he's not how tied in he is. But I see what you're saying, Nav. Like maybe he should have just jumped on the headset.
Yeah, that's if you're gonna fire Greg Roman after this game, you know what I mean? If it went the way it was going, then you put the headset on yourself as the head coach and say, well, guess what? It's on me now. Because if it goes the way it goes, Greg Roman's getting fired. Now, let's be clear. Greg Roman is used to getting fired. It's not new to him.
Yeah.
It's not a new thing for him.
Right. Yeah. I think he was with one other stop without Jim, and that was in Buffalo, if I'm not mistaken.
Ravens as well.
Raven. Yeah, there you go. That one as well.
Ravens. He went from Harbaugh to Harbaugh, is what it was.
I think that's where I got.
He had Harbaugh, like the other Harbaugh.
Good job, Harbaughs.
Yeah.
Recycling freaking people between the family.
Yeah.
And this guy brought up something with Hampton. Hampton also got pulled from this game by the medical staff after 2 snaps. And I don't know. And he said, like, in his exit interview, he was like, I didn't understand why they pulled me. I was feeling fine. And I don't know if they were like, maybe they're playing it safe with him. That was another guy they kind of went away from a little too soon.
Why do you play it safe?
Dude, it's the playoffs. Nav, this game, I think I said to turn the game off.
That game was the craziest playoff game I've seen in a long damn time. The way the Chargers were operating. I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
So, Nav, let's hold that same energy, and your comments will directly apply to what I'm about to say as the second and my last comment on the game. At the very end of that game, when the Chargers were making a push to come back in the game.
Yes.
This is very rare that I will agree with Collinsworth, and I can't believe I actually have to admit that and say that out loud. Okay, the dude's an ass.
Got to get fired, man.
Like the dude's an asshat, but at the same time, I can't deny he's right. Like he was actually right. Like I don't know what else to say. You were at around the 50-yard line, and
I remember. Go ahead.
And this goes to your game management point. This goes to Nav making his comment about like what the heck, like basically using the capital R word. With "etard" added to the end of it, it's like you then say, "Wait a minute, we got them, and they're starting to get gassed." We're doing hurry up offense. We're driving down the field.
And then
we're doing the thing. And then
I know what you're
like,
going to say.
Wait, hold on.
Let's go.
We got them where we want them. Substitution.
Now who subs out?
No.
Do you remember what player
New England
subbed out?
New England sub. Well, it was is Allen subbed in. Allen
subbed out. He subbed out.
Oh, okay.
Keenan Allen subbed out. Therefore, you just saw all the New England players just go, "Oh, okay, cool." And they just all took their sweet ass time to get on and off the field because the refs were like, "You can't do anything about it," which was the dumbest thing I've seen. And I'm
so this is where I'm getting at. Number one, Harbaugh should have turned to Allen, flipped him the bird, and told him to keep his rear end on the field. Okay, number one. Number two, you've literally got the backup defensive line on the field for the New England Patriots. Your quarterback is literally starting to pick the defense apart as you're driving down the field. You maybe have another 3 or 4 plays at the clip that you're going. Dude, Keenan, suck it up and shut up is all I gotta say, man. And
Richie, I like I said, there's been so many bonehead mistakes all season.
No, but T said this is what my problem is. I would totally give you a little bit of a pass. I know I can say it. I say it all the time on the show. So stop acting like a retard.
He said R. He said R with an E-tard at the end. When you say it live, it's different than typing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can say David trying to poke some whatever. I mean, I can call him a retard all I want on the show. Like, you know, you make a comment like that, David, you're acting like a retard. Anyways,
right. Well, he typically does. He typically does, and that's okay. I love him, no shit though.
Look, I actually his comments are funny. I'm not gonna lie. It's just I figured I'd poke fun when and where I can, right? But he said this is what the problem is that I would have almost forgiven if that was like the only time they did that on that drive. You did it 3 times.
Yes.
You did it 3 times.
Like I said, there's a lot of Biden-esque stuff coming out of Jim throughout games. And
but this is what I don't understand. At what point does your head coach not step in and say, no?
You tell me, man. You tell me. We're
like,
watching.
I don't understand. Like, and this is the thing. This is the piece that really kills me with what I saw in that game there is I know he knows better because we play you twice a year and I've seen him do better.
They just go full on and we'll say it, retard in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They've done it back-to-back years. They've got full on. And it's just...
Hey, I do have to address something real quick. It's this respect my gamer. Rams winning it all. Everyone else playing for second place. Let me tell you something. You had a problem with the Panthers that had a losing record, bro. I'm just saying. Be careful on how you freaking do your stuff there. I'm just saying. Be careful on what you're asking for. Because I'm telling you what, the Niners are getting healthier, and that is a problem for the entire NFC.
The Niners need to have their left tackle. I don't know is he coming back, their left tackle?
Yes.
Yeah, that's who they need.
Yep.
That's their key piece right there.
Yep.
And the Niners are well coached. And I mean very well coached.
I think you'd have to toss it up between Shanahan.
Make mistakes.
I think you'd have to toss it up to Shanahan and Liam Cohen for what they did this year, and I would give it to Shanahan.
Yeah, but I know.
Did you guys? I don't know if we talked about this on last week's show. Did you guys see? So for the last decade, the Niners have been the most injured team by far in the NFL.
Yeah,
and there was a guy. They did some study, and their facility is right next to some electromagnetic power station.
That's some stupid. That is the dumbest shit ever.
and you could throw a rock at it, and they're saying that when you have the people in the facility, listen, they're talking about
you're in my freaking realm right now.
They're saying that
such bullshit.
Hey, then you tell me, Naf. Then you tell me why they are the most injured team, because they say that stuff affects soft tissue injuries over time.
It affects soft tissue in a good way, actually.
So I don't know. I thought that was interesting. I'm like, look, maybe they might want to move their facility to the other side of their property. Maybe that would help.
Interesting, but it's bullshit.
It could be. It could all be BS. But look, I love conspiracy.
I'm an electrical engineer, bro. I'm just saying it's interesting, but it's complete bullshit.
I'm sure there's some stuff. I just want to know why. But look, Shanahan, go back to him. Fantastic.
They're as healthy as they've been the entire season, which is scary.
And that was also kind of go back to my game. That was the Patriots as well. They were in that game the healthiest they'd been in a long time as well.
They only had one. They only had one starter that was on not available.
Yeah, I think Tonga. It was Tonga or whatever. Their nose tackle.
Yeah, the nose.
So,
and he's a good player too.
Yeah, and I love Vrabel as a coach. I have no issues with Drake May. I think they've got some great pieces there.
There's something missing.
Yes. Yep, I agree.
With the Patriots, I don't see them coming out of the AFC.
No.
Now, could happen. Don't get me wrong. I don't see them coming out of the AFC. They're far too freaking weird the way they win ball games. It's
well, they were blowing dudes out. Pause, as the kids would say, but they were blowing teams out all season, and then.
But they weren't playing the teams they're playing now.
No, it'll be interesting to see them going against Houston. For some reason, I think Stroud he's got a pretty decent playoff record, even though their offense isn't all that good.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting matchup between them and the Texans. But I don't see it going particularly well for Drake May with that D-line.
I mean, my call of the bowl is Bills, Rams. Even though the Rams kind of scared me, I think it's Bills, Rams in the Super Bowl.
I don't trust Sam Darnold up in Seattle. I think their defense is fantastic, but I just don't trust him in particular. And
true.
I mean, look, you already just gave your prediction with Richie's game, so there's that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw it out there at that.
Yeah, that's cool. So let's quickly go into just some rough news here. DZ, you already kind of mentioned Minter on the coaching carousel is literally being interviewed by every single team that's looking for a coach, every single team. At first, I was thinking Minter was going to be probably highly sought after by probably someone like the Ravens, maybe. They kind of have that kind of like grit mentality, but honestly, I think with Tomlin stepping down with the Steelers, Minter just kind of seems like he's their kind of guy.
Are you talking about the Steelers? The Steelers like young guys.
Yeah,
they like to hire young, and then they don't fire you.
So since 1969 to this year, they're hiring only now, their fourth coach.
It's so
wild.
Yes,
since 1960.
So wild.
Only now is their fourth coach.
You just took away my freaking thunder.
So, I mean, and frankly, I think Minter's a guy that is mature beyond his years. Minter reminds me kind of like a defensive version of, say, McVay from the Rams. He has that kind of vibe to me where he's just so competent at what he does that he's just going to know what to do and why to do it. Like, he'll take his defensive prowess and apply it to what he knows is going to work on the offensive side of the ball. And then he'll obviously has the defensive prowess to
There's
make
one
sure
guy I don't want to say there's just one guy, but there's one guy we've known in back-to-back seasons that's had his number, and that's Liam Cohen. When Liam Cohen was with the Bucks and then with the Jags, for whatever reason, he gave Minter fits. So whoever hires him, like, I don't know if you'd want Tennessee to hire him because they're in the same division with the Jags, but the Steelers one, that's an interesting pick because, yes, like you said, they do like to hire young.
Yep.
He kind of fits their thing.
Their thing, yeah.
And then Tomlin, you know, going back with him is he wants to take, you know, the year off, and he's still under their control. So if anybody wants him next season, they still have to trade for him. You know, they're going to have to give up something to get him. So it's going to be interesting with that. I'd love to see Tomlin in TV. I think he'd be fantastic on TV as an TV analyst.
That's what he's doing. Like he'll go on TV, and I think that he's seeing this as a
refresher kind of thing.
No. Well, there's that, but I actually think he's
a scouting thing.
No, I don't even think he's that. I think he's going to say it's a grinding season, a lot of prep work. I'm in the building. I'm there early all the time. It's somewhat of an unstable job, and he's probably wanting to do a test. This is my take on it.
I agree with what you're saying.
You've seen him kind of taper off. His mental state is a little bit off when you see him compared to what he used to be on. With the Steelers and whatnot. So obviously this was something that is probably a relatively mutual decision. My gut reaction says that he's going to TV to see if he loses the coaching itch or not. So am I going into TV and saying I'm cool and I'm done? Or is he going to go on TV and be like, I can't stand not coaching in the NFL. I need to go back.
And then a coach of his caliber also, it's also like, what job would become available?
Think about that. When Bill Cowher left the Steelers, everybody thought he was going to come back to coaching. This wasn't going to happen.
Didn't
immediately.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Good point on that one. Maybe
you know what
maybe Pittsburgh just runs you down. I mean, who knows?
But the thing about it is, dude, 3 coaches since 1969? For crying out loud, how much pressure is that for the new head coach? Mentor, and I'll tell you what, Mentor's the right age. The oldest coach the Steelers have hired since 1969 is 40 years of age, and that's Chuck Noll.
Damn. And Minter's 34 or something, I think he's 34.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. Yeah. We shall see. There's some really good coaches in this cycle. I know,
but it's crazy that thought process. Hell, the Raiders went through 3 coaches in one freaking year, dude. 1 year. The Steelers went through 3 coaches since 1969.
Yep.
I mean, that's crazy to think about it that way. You know, it's nuts.
Yeah, and so the good news. Yeah, so the good news about that is that tells you there's an ownership group there that is very level-headed, and they generally know what they're doing when they're hiring a coach, and that just kind of says a lot, right?
Yeah.
And I think
probably you could say the Ravens, and they're not as new as as old as an organization as the Steelers.
Steelers, no.
I like the Ravens ownership.
I think what it came down to is Chuck Noll said Bill Cowher should be the next head coach because he left. He said, I'm retiring, right? Said Bill Cowher should be the next head coach. And then Bill Cowher says Mike Tomlin should be the next head coach. That's the way it worked for the Steelers. You know what I mean?
So I wonder.
I think that's the difference with the Rudy.
Do you think Tomlin might have dropped like, hey, maybe this guy should be the next guy?
Go get Minter.
All right.
Go get Jesse.
I don't bet on anything, but I think Jesse Minter is going to be the Steelers head coach.
That's what I said. That's what I'm saying. I think he's the dude. I truly think so.
You guys, I wasn't even thinking about the Steelers with Minter. I honestly wasn't even thinking about it, but I mean, we'll see.
Just kind of the same idea, the way it is. I'm pretty sure Tomlin looked at Rooney and says, "Hey, dude, here's the dude you need to do it again." You know what I mean? Whatever he said, I'm pretty sure Rooney's going to do it. You know, it's
Yep.
That's just the way the Steelers have operated.
They're going to have a huge issue because they need a quarterback.
No, but here's the thing, though, right? Is the Steelers ownership group is so stable that they're going to say to Minter, all right, here's the plan. Let's sit down and talk about it. We're not even going to allow the media to come into this building and start chirping on you to fire you after not doing well the first 3 or 4 seasons, because we're on a about 3-year journey of getting ourselves back to being better again. So first things first is we're going to give up a whole bunch of draft capital in next year's draft to get ourselves a quarterback.
We're going to give away T.J. Watt. We're going to give away DK Metcalf. We're going to give away everybody. And you're going to lose. And you're going to lose.
Yeah, and they're going to go through all that stuff. They're going to have all these discussions and stuff, and then they're going to have Minter do what he did with the Chargers, draft young defensive talent, and pick key guys that are like the Steeler way. They're gritty, they're big, they're strong. They're just kind of like just an all-around like lunch pail type of team, right? And they're going to look for
nasty players.
Yes, yeah, but they're the quiet dudes that were in high school when some dude finally came up and picked on them more than once, took the guy's head, smashed into the locker, walked away, and just never said a word. Right? That's who the Steelers are. That's exactly what they are. Yeah.
Right.
And Minter fits that role. Like in my mind, when I look at how the Chargers defense looks under his tutelage, that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a guy that takes a bunch of guys that no one knew who they were coming in, and your Chargers defense was in the number 1, number 2, or number 3 in most categories.
And back-to-back drafts, no top-end defensive talent. You know, in the first and second draft, first and second pick, defensive guys were always the third or whatever. The starting corners or 2 of the starting corners were 5th-round picks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so if not the Steelers, what would be your second guess for a team for him? Because
for who?
For Minter, because it sounds like John.
The Raiders. That'd be my second.
Because it sounds like John is.
Look, dude, I'm not trying. I wrote all this shit down. I'm not trying to give up all of it right now.
Well, I got you. I was just wondering if you got what your second team would be, because I didn't even think about the Steelers.
I think the Raiders are going to go in the same path that the Steelers are going to go in the same path they've gone since 1969. They're going to have a head coach that is a leader of men. And Jesse
my second the Ravens.
And the Ravens, either one.
Because the Ravens are a similarly run ownership group. They're kind of that old school gritty style football. Minter is a defensive guy. The Ravens have a historical Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, and you keep on going back through. And so Minter would certainly be able to carry on some of their defensive tradition that they have with the Ravens, and I think that actually means quite a bit to their organization.
I mean, and he knows them there as well. He knows the front office.
Yeah.
So.
And so I think the Ravens would be a natural fit for him. And then I think the organization and the ownership there would appreciate a guy appreciate what he has done with the Chargers. Like, I actually think that there would be genuine appreciation from the ownership group there to say, wow, look at what you did with the Chargers.
So I have 2 picks for the Steelers head coach.
All right.
Minter or Brian Flores.
Mm-hmm.
That is my pick for the Steelers.
I was looking at Flores with the Ravens because now
but it's either way. You know what I mean? As Richie said, it's kind of like both of them are like freaking hard-nosed, freaking hardcore, nasty, freaking defensive minds, you know? And the thing about it is the difference would be that I think the Steelers would benefit with Minter more towards the thought process of we've only had 3 coaches since 1969. We want to continue that. And that Minter would be more like what a Tomlin or a Cowher would be.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting to see where all these guys land. I mean, you guys remember, I was just thinking about this and I was talking about this with other people. I think if you do the math, it's 28% of the league are looking for a head coach. I don't remember this many openings. This is college. It's like college.
9 head coaching openings so far.
So far, yeah. Matt
LaFleur, they said we're working on a chance to keep Matt LaFleur in Green Bay.
And then whatever could be happening with Richie's game and the Bills, say the Bills don't make it out.
McDermott could be gone.
He could be out of there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that would be another opening.
That's crazy.
The Bills could very well pull what my Broncos did with John Fox.
Yes.
John so you remember John Fox, right? So John Fox had my team in the playoffs. It was mark it in. The Broncos are going to be in the playoffs. John Fox is here. We're going to be a regular staple there. The question is, how far are we going to go? And the issue that we have with John Fox seems to be very similar to the issue that we have with McDermott, right? With the Bills, is John Fox could always take us to a certain point, and he just didn't have that next gear. McDermott to me is literally yelling at me John Fox vibes. He is undeniably a great transitionary head coach. He's the guy you want to bring into a team that needs to have the rebuild and restructure take place. Right. He's the one that's going to reset the culture. He's the one that's going to draft you pretty solid players to get you to a great spot. But he's never going to get you to the promised land, but he's going to get you that close.
Well, now, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't John Fox leave the Broncos, go to the Panthers, and take them to a Super Bowl?
Yeah, but he took the Broncos to the Super Bowl too.
With Cam Newton, right?
Yeah, but you're just saying that he just can't win the big game, is what you're saying.
He can't win the big game.
He can't win the Super Bowl. But damn, if your coach is bringing you to the Super Bowl, for crying out loud, that's enough reason to keep him. You know what I mean?
Not when you get blown out. Not when you get blown out. He got blown out both times.
Shit, come on. I mean, he got you there. That's a player problem, not a coach problem.
I mean, I think equally with these head coaches is coordinators as well. Depending, I know we've been talking about Minter. He's going to need an offensive coordinator wherever he goes. That's going to need to be his right hand man.
Yeah, no question. There's no reason, even if it's say, for instance, the Raiders say Clint Kubiak. Cool, I get it. Still need an OC. He's the head coach. We don't,
I was just typing to him. We are looking for a Chiefs guy.
We are actively recruiting for a Chiefs guy to join us on the show. If you're interested or know of any of your friends that might be interested in jumping on camera, have them reach out to me. My handle's below my name here on the show. We'll have you on for a bit of for a test run, see what the personalities are like and how we work out and stuff on camera and whatnot. And we'll go from there.
Yeah, I'd like to get a guy when we're going to draft.
I I don't hate the three of us being in here because, man, I dig you guys. Man, we have a time. You know what I mean? It's good. But I'm telling you what, when you've won as much as you have, why wouldn't you want to be here? That's the thing. Why wouldn't you, as a Chiefs aficionado, want to be here? Why wouldn't you? I don't understand why. It's so hard to find the one team in the AFC West over the last 8-9 years that is dominant. And for whatever reason, where are they? I'm looking over here in a couple of dark spots on my screen. You could be there. You could be right there. You know what I mean? Come on, man.
Definitely a Chiefs guy. I mean, it was kind of a bummer that we went without one.
Because they're pussies.
I mean, I've even tried looking for them on X and such, and to no avail. I mean, I think they have their own shows or whatever, just like many Chargers and many Raiders. It's just I don't get it. But there's only few platforms like ourselves where we are, representing all the teams, talking about everything in one show. So I think do they only want to talk about just their team? You all need to
I agree. The weird thing is that this is a unique show. You need a bit of a unique personality to be on the show. I mean, you can obviously be a fan of your team. There is nothing wrong with that, and frankly, we all encourage that, right? But you also need to have the ability to take a half step back and recognize that, like, for example, this year the Chiefs were kind of getting walked all over, right? Mm-hmm. They just were, and Raiders, same thing, right? You have to have some humility and some ability to turn a mirror inwards and say, this is not going to go well. And so it's a really interesting dynamic on the show, and you need to have the right personality traits. So I know a bunch of the guys from like All Chiefed Up and HBT, like How About Them Chiefs. I know like those guys and stuff as well. Obviously, it's just the one guy on How About Them Chiefs. Good guys, by the way. But they have their own platform, and I will tell you this. I also know some of the largest Raiders platforms out there as well, like the real big ones, like the upper echelon ones. I can tell you that.
Wait, what?
Look, you're great and you have a great platform, but I'm talking like 100K subs, man. like you know what I mean?
Bro. Yeah. I'm fucking with you.
Right? But the thing here is they will tell you straight up, and they've assessed their analytics, that when they've thrown out other teams' content as videos on their channels as a trial run, and most of those very large platforms have tested it, their stats and numbers tank. I mean, they go in the toilet. And so you really do require a rather unique.
There's a caveat to that. There's a caveat. I'll tell you real quick. There was these guys that popped up on YouTube when Harbaugh got hired with the Chargers. They're Detroit Lions, Michigan fans. So they're like, oh, we're a fan of Harbaugh. Guess what they started doing? They started doing little 10, 30-minute clip videos of Charger news. And if you look at their numbers, they're massive. Mm-hmm. So there's two sides to it, but I know what you're saying. And from what my experience with looking at other teams, they just want to talk about their team. They don't want to share the space and have us come at each other and be like, well, what about this? What about that? They're like, no, that's not what I'm into.
Well, and DZ, I guess the message I want to get out for a Chiefs fan is don't be afraid to get in here. We're not going to freaking annihilate you. This show is structured. I mean, it's like, hey, here's what we're talking about. We're going to do it this way. Richie's in charge. He says, all right, DZ, so what do you think? Hey, Madman, what do you think? Hey, KC Chiefs fan, what do you think? We don't fight about stuff. Do
you think I wanted to come in with my tail between my legs after that playoff game? But it's not me.
That takes guts, by the way. Like to be fair, like that was a rough game by all metrics.
Yes. I was like, this is not happening again. And I'm like, do I really want to go and talk about this? And I'm like, suck it up. You know what I mean? Like, just
and DZ, did me and Richie just freaking annihilate you on it? No. One, I can't. I'm not allowed. The Raiders are fucking terrible. So I'm not allowed to even think about it, number one. Now Richie could, but he doesn't. We're analyzing all of it, and that's the way we do it, and we do it in order on how things.
Now, in fairness, I and it's been pretty well publicized. I am pretty vicious when it comes to my team. Like as in like
no,
like I will rip them apart. Yeah, like I will rip them apart, man. So
when I was watching this show a couple seasons ago, that's I was like, oh shit. I was like, this guy, is he even a Broncos fan? Like, what the hell is he talking about?
But DZ, here's the question though: how often did I get the predictions wrong though?
Not that often.
No,
you're pretty.
I was pretty level-headed.
Yeah,
I was pretty level-headed.
It's pretty close. It's close, but not a winner.
Yeah, yeah, but like, look, you'll get stuff wrong, but like when I was calling out like the defense for missing things or poor tackling, or people saying, "Oh, the Raiders are coming to town, we're going to lose." I was one of the only Broncos fans out there that said we're going to lose to the Raiders, and we did. Like I was literally one of the only Broncos fans
last week, so I was right about that.
Yes, you were. But yeah, like I truly am pretty aggressively objective when it comes to my team, because I want my team to be better than we are. And right now, there's a bunch of orange and blue colored glasses that people are wearing, and they're actually missing the trees in the forest. They need to
they're
actually
really excited. I mean, by all means, they're super excited. But I've seen a lot of other Broncos stuff, and I'm like, this is definitely not Richie's take. I mean, I'm like, there's two ends of the spectrum here.
Spence, I'll kind of like Spence. Like Spence, I wear his ass out. I wear Spence out. He can't keep up with the chat.
No.
I'm like, dude, what did you just say? No.
So, with that in mind, let's work on the Broncos Bills game, because that's obviously the other relevant piece here.
You're not going to like what I have to say about this.
No, I have some concerns as well, although I have some other elements that I think are going to be interesting. So I have a few big-time concerns for this game. One of them is that Forsythe got hurt a little bit in the last game against the Chargers, and the Broncos desperately need to make sure that dude stays healthy. We did bring in another center on the practice squad as a supplementary guy. It's going to see if he gets. Well, it's going to be interesting to see if he gets the nod over Mustafa. So that'll be interesting. But ultimately, my team needs Forsythe to stay healthy, because thankfully Whataburger isn't coming back. And Wattenberg, my mistake, Floridian slip from the Canadian, and so that was unfortunate. But Forsythe is a much better run blocker, and he is a much more aggressive offensive lineman than Wattenberg is, and that, in my opinion, is actually a benefit to the Broncos as the weather gets colder and as they progress into the postseason. Because you're not going to be able to throw the ball all around the yard against these playoff teams. They're in the playoffs for a reason. You're going to have to start playing more chess rather than checkers. So, and you're going to have to start being strategic with how you play.
Do the opposite of what the Chargers did against the Patriots. Yeah. You'll be fine.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's kind of my general take with the offensive line. We're gonna have some challenges in this game. One of them is going to be the secondary for the Broncos is depleted, and Josh Allen is going to do Josh Allen style things. The counter to that, Nav, to where I know you're going with some of this, is that the Bills are now without 3 wide receivers in the game coming up,
Dude.
which is not a small feat. That is a major issue for them because like we're talking like basically their top 3 dudes, right? Like that's
Dude,
a
they're
problem.
banged up, bro. They are banged up.
Shakir's available.
Sure. So, like again, our safety is the guy that's banged up in Brandon Jones, and that dude is legit as a player. He is like
Question.
like he is like upper echelon there. We have a serviceable backup and a PJ Locke to cover that off, but he is not a starter. He's just a guy that you can rely on to step in to kind of like bridge the gap. But that's not the guy that's going to be covering Shakir. It's going to be it'll be one of 3 guys actually. It'll be McMillan, who had a pick 6, if I'm not mistaken, in the last game. So yeah, that's not so bad. Then you got Surtain, who's defensive player of the year. That is pretty damn good too. And then you got Riley Moss, which is hilarious, by the way, because most people crap the bed all over on Riley Moss. I'm actually one of the biggest Riley Moss fans actually out there, because a lot of Broncos country are all like crapping all over him. But when you actually analyze what he does in the game and then realize how many targets that dude gets just because the other team doesn't want to throw to Pat Surtain, he is one of the best corners in the league statistically and on paper and on film.
He is the best.
Yeah, he's amazing. Like, that guy's amazing. Like,
what about McMillan?
Look, McMillan is so damn good as a
He's probably the second best.
Well, because he's a free agent. I'm asking because he's a free agent this season.
Look, this is how good McMillan is. They drafted Jahdae Barron to replace McMillan, and they planned on cutting McMillan after the preseason. McMillan played so well in preseason that they kept McMillan, and then he kept on getting better as the season went on and kept Jahdae Barron on the bench. That's how damn good McMillan is.
Right.
He's going to get paid. He's going to get paid.
So let's just put it this way. McMillan is a 3rd-round comp pick all day long for my team. Yeah, and we wasted an undrafted pickup on him. So he is a net benefit. Not only has he been a phenomenal player for the Denver Broncos, we're not going to have the cap room unless he's willing to take a hometown discount to keep it to stick with the team.
Probably not. This is his opportunity.
This is his opportunity to get paid, right?
Yeah.
And so, in my opinion, he is an RFA, but the Broncos can't compete with.
Yeah, like somebody's going to offer him a good chunk, and Broncos are going to be like, "Sorry, see you, dude."
Yeah, like and rightfully so. Like, the dude's earned it at this point, and I think we need to show. The Broncos need to keep showing what they are showing right now with the front office. The Broncos are retaining players and paying them not the top of the market, but they're paying them enough to keep the gang together to try to win and win a bunch of ball games. And Broncos are in fact doing that. So good for the team. But at some point they also need to do guys solid and say, we can't pay you the money that you actually are going to earn on the open market. So if you want to get paid, we're not going to hold you back. But at the same time, we would love to have you back regardless. Here's what we're willing to offer, because we want to field a competitive team. And I think the Broncos front office is actually very honest with their players. And that's why in all of these times and all of the things, you have never heard a bad word about George Paton as a GM. Not one. Zero. Niet.
Your front office is the reason the Broncos are where they are, right?
Yeah, probably superb scouting department as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, that changed when George Paton came in. The scouting department got an overhaul with his a few folks that he had there.
Wasn't that just a few years ago? Or no? Or is it longer than
last year?
3 years ago. 3 years ago.
No. Oh, when Paton came in, yeah. But last year was the scouting overhaul.
No, the year before.
Oh, year before. Okay.
Year before.
Gotcha.
Yeah, year before. And then the year before that, in Peyton's first year, if you read some of the lesser known articles, but they're definitely valid. He basically came in and said, "That's fantastic. I can't fire you yet, but sit down and shut up."
Yeah. Hey Russ, check this shit out.
Well, yeah, some of that too. But anyways, it was an interesting piece. It was an interesting piece how he kind of ran the show there for a little bit. John Elway was constantly trying to find the quarterback that he could then put in place and then retire.
Mhm.
And he ended up just basically, shooting the Denver Broncos, a team in the foot with regards to Russell Wilson and all that kind of stuff. But so we have a few interesting pieces in this game.
I found it funny when Sean Payton says, "Hey, look, when a quarterback has a nicer office than I do, it's time to move on."
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. It's like, you got to be shitting me. He has an office?
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah. So there's a whole host of issues with that. That just shows that the team is not run particularly well. Look, I've even heard John Elway's teammates come back and say, fantastic player, all-time great, no questions that.
But what an asshole.
Awful player personnel, team executive, just awful. And I agree with that. I truly agree with that. But we have some interesting pieces here. The one thing that
So what's your call on the game?
My overall call is I think that you're going to see a different style of Broncos game here. Sean Payton is an interesting cat. He has had 2 weeks to manipulate things and play coy, if you will, in terms of how he's doing things. My boy Adam Prentice, I've spoken about him a couple times on the show. I think you're going to see a heavy dose of Prentice, fullback style football. You're going to see the heavy sets. You're going to see the grinding sets. You're going to see the wearing down of the defensive line of the Buffalo Bills by the Denver Broncos. If I had my way, if you're saying what I think is going to happen, that's what should happen. I'm not sure it will, but it's what should happen. And then I think what Sean Payton's going to attempt to do is try to think that he can outsmart everyone. It will wait and see if it works. Is he's going to probably try to come out grinding the football and wearing down the Bills' defensive line in approximately the first half of the game. And then I think in the second half, he's going to then try to absolutely flip the script. I think he's then going to then put it in Bo Nix's hands and say, throw the ball all over the yard. I think we have him worn down.
Or are you having him do that? Like, are you saying that you guys are going to be ahead when you're doing that? Or you're taking the score out of
the Bills off the jump.
Yeah, the Bills defensive line's major weakness, and it is a massive one at that, is run defense sucks. It is awful. And if you've looked even at what Jaleel McLaughlin did to what was largely your starters in Week 18 there, where he was pulling off like 8-9 yards a clip.
I think he needs to get more.
He's going to be more involved. He's going to be more
involved.
than
RJ Harvey. Yeah. I would say that kid's got some juice like right now.
Bills run a different defense than the Chargers, though.
They do.
They're not as good.
More of a Tampa too. So I don't know that just like pounding it up the middle is going to work.
This has got to suck for Josh Allen, man. You know, he's got no Lamar, no Joe Burrow, no Mahomes in the playoffs, right? It's the AFC essentially is wide open, and now his team is just decimated with injuries.
If I was Josh Allen, I'd be like, all right, this is my chance.
It is, but that's what I would be against a healthy Denver defense in Denver. Like in playoffs, like this is going to turn up, and this might be too much for Josh. The Bills, to me, like what they in their last game, some of the stuff they did was really impressive. I was really impressed with their like the players that they had out there. I was like, wow, okay, dudes came to play.
Right.
I did not expect these kind of backups and whatever to do that. But going into this game, I agree with what Richie kind of said, like, but not really in those halves. He was like wear them down, and then in the second half, bombs away. Now, the only way I would see that happening is if you've got a comfortable lead and you want to really just put them away and put the dagger in them, and you don't want any of this Josh Allen heroics. That being said, Josh Allen is probably the one quarterback, because Mahomes isn't in this right now, that can put on some heroics. We've seen him do it, and you're just like, whoa. I've got this game. I'm just going to throw my score out because I think it's fun. I've got this game going into overtime. I've got it being tied. I got it going to overtime, and I've got the Broncos taking it by a field goal. I think it's the Broncos are just too healthy, and they're at home, and it's just going to be a little bit too much for Josh. And this does get McDermott fired, and they have got to. The Bills have got to bring in a good supporting cast for Josh. He cannot shoulder this every single game. And I think Peyton's just going to have Bo just be a solid game manager. He's going to just try run, short pass here, short pass there, and they're just going to wear the Bills down. Now, I would love to say that the Bills get this and this is their shot to the Super Bowl, but seeing the Bills, how just decimated they are. And to be honest with you, Josh Allen and Cook, the two best players. I mean, you could throw their tight ends in there. I like their tight ends, Kincaid
and Dawson, both. I mean,
I think they're solid.
That's to deal with.
They're solid, but I mean, let's just face it, man. This isn't some chintzy defense they're going against. They're going against some dudes. They're going against a solid effing defense. And I really believe that the only reason my team had success against the Broncos is because they know them so well. They knew their tendencies. I don't think the Bills are going to know the Broncos' tendencies. And then, like I said, it turns up not just a notch. It goes up like 5 notches in the playoffs. And you got Hufanga. You got Greenlaw coming back. I mean, these dudes are going to be – they're going to be coming, man. It's going to be a fun game. We'll see if Josh if he has any more of that superhuman stuff left in him. But I got the Broncos taking it in OT.
Okay, I think the Broncos will win the ball. I think they will, but it's going to be like 17-13.
I can also see that.
I think it's going to come down to which quarterback has the football with 2 minutes left in the ballgame. I firmly believe that. Which quarterback has the ball in their hand with 2 minutes left in the ballgame? Josh Allen has proved that he will beat you if he has 3 timeouts with 2 minutes left. And Bo Nix has proved he will beat you.
with 3 timeouts. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I mean, it's the spread, right? It's only 1.5, right, Nav?
I don't think it's going to. I think this is going to be at the half. It could be 9-3. Who knows? You know
Broncos
what I mean?
Are 1-point dogs.
I think that changed.
They're 1-point dogs. That's bullshit.
I think they're 1 point. I think they're 1.5 favorites now.
I take that in a heartbeat.
Check it again, Richie.
I'm looking at MGM. Broncos are the underdogs.
I'm going to check it again because
I mean, 1 point though. I'm not sure I'd bet
tight.
that.
That's super tight, Nav, right?
Super tight. Might as well be a freaking just a.
I mean, look, you get 3 points for being at home.
This is the coin flip game.
But the thing about it is, I honestly believe it's going to come down to which quarterback has the ball with 2 minutes left at the end of the ball. This is going to be one of those ball games. Because I'll tell you what, the Bills' defense has gotten better.
Yep.
Over the last few weeks. They've made a lot of turnovers and shit like that. So, I mean, they do like to freaking turn you over. And Bo Nix does like to turn it over. You have to admit, he does like to make a bad decision from time to time.
too many
Josh
times.
Allen's not that guy. He doesn't make those kind of decisions.
So I'm going to push back on that a little bit. Josh Allen has a game or two a year where he forgets that he's the new version of Josh Allen, and he reverts back to his former self.
Rich, did you say you were on BetMGM?
When that happened this year, though?
Yes. Pardon me?
When that happened this
year. I don't think it's happened this year, but my point though is that like generally speaking, over the last 3 years so far, let's put it this way, until he can prove that he can go the entirety of the season all the way and winning a Super Bowl and not doing the thing, I can only go based on past history. And he's got more past history, especially even in recency bias in the last 3 or 4 years, where he has gone majority of the season doing really well, and then he basically craps the bed once or twice.
Oh, no. Hold on. I got the stats to prove it here. Josh Allen has the best playoff stats of any active quarterback in the playoffs the entire time he's made the playoffs. That dude is like 15 touchdowns and 3 picks in the playoffs. It's never been Josh Allen's fault that a ball game was lost. That dude is always competing.
I look at during the regular. I'm really talking about the majority of the games being regular season.
He was like 20 for 23 for 420 yards last year or something in that game they lost.
DraftKings,
damn.
DraftKings has the Broncos as 1.5 point favorites right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's who. I mean, everybody uses. It's flipped.
I think this is going to be a tie. I mean, it's going to be one of these.
Yeah.
You're like, shit. Every single player is going to make the difference in this ballgame. I think he's like, oh, yep, he should have went. Oh, yep, he fucked that up.
Hey, you're not.
You know,
he's
he's
not wrong. Mahomes was.
And the reality is,
I don't think that's true.
The Bills' defense has gotten better over the last few weeks.
I don't know if it's weapons.
I don't think Mahomes has the best stats, generally speaking, because there have been games. No, because I actually think that Mahomes has had a couple games where he himself has been the one to, like, quote unquote, make the mistake. So, for example, if you look at the Tampa Bay game as an example, and KC Chiefs fans, by the way, appreciate you being here, my man. But when you look at Mahomes and you look at, say, like the Tampa Bay Super Bowl loss, for example, where Tampa Bay won with Tom Brady there, Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes turned the ball over a boatload, and Josh Allen has never really done that. I do recognize that, but my point overall is that in the regular season, and I realize playoffs is different, but again, like at some point, someone's gonna, have a little too much weight on their shoulders and potentially could crumble. Josh Allen has typically not done that, so I agree with Nav on this one. But we have seen Mahomes have some crumbling moments in the playoffs where he has made mistakes, made errors, and done some bad things. So, anyways, with regards to,
I'm not a fan of what you just said, because it's actually not true.
What?
What you just said about Josh Allen making mistakes in the playoffs. He just doesn't do it.
I never said that he made mistakes in the playoffs.
Oh, I thought you just did. My bad.
No. I said that. I said that at some point he's bound to make mistake because he hasn't done so yet. And there's going to come a time where if you are basically shouldering the entirety of the weight, that it is fair to think that you might crumble under the weight that is on your shoulders. In the regular season, however, Josh Allen has typically, not this season, but typically had a couple games where it's just like it's objectively bad. Like he has actually played objectively poorly. Now, this season he has not done so, but I'm thinking that at some point when you have to keep on being the guy, right? Where if you're constantly having to like force the play, make the play, do the thing, that at some point no one's perfect. Someone's
Right.
going to make a mistake. It's not even a knock on him, by the way. It's just at some point when you got one wide receiver, one running back, and yourself as like the only guys that you can count on to do anything.
And 2 tight ends. By the way, they're both all pros.
I mean,
or both pro bowlers.
Yeah, they are very good. But again, you can key on those guys. Is my point.
Yeah.
Is you're in a disadvantage as a quarterback on the field.
I agree.
I wonder if go ahead, Nev. Sorry.
No, I agree 100%. Here's the thing. Am I a Bills fan? Absolutely not. Josh Allen to me is a dude that came in the league, and to be honest with you, when he first started in there, everybody was like, he's going to be a cast-off. He's just rough. Not playing good and that type of stuff. But the thing is, he was getting dominated by players or other quarterbacks like Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. You know what I mean? All these dudes that are not in the league. If I was Josh Allen, I'd be sleeping at night going, am I going to get beat by Bo Nix? That would be what I would go to bed thinking. And I'll tell you what, defense or not, Josh Allen, when his freaking shit goes freaking off, the dude goes off. But he doesn't typically make a lot of mistakes. He really doesn't give the defense opportunities, to score on. I mean, I think he's only been scored on 4 times in 6 years, from what I'm seeing right here. Like 2 pick sixes, 2 fumble returns in 6 years.
I see what you're saying. I wonder.
It's one of those. He's not going to be the problem.
I wonder how the Broncos defense is going to play him, because they can cage, rush, essentially just keep him in a pocket, right? Or do they try to blitz?
Stunts. They're doing stunts.
But then you open up lanes if he can get through it.
Got to be careful with Cook, though. Cook, that dude can freaking change a game on him.
So if I had to game plan for this one here, the tackles for the Bills are good, but the interior of the line is not great.
No.
And so they have the guard in the center that are their weak point. And so I think what you're going to get is light pressure and potentially a few chances from time to time that you're going to end up with, like Benito and Cooper, kind of like they're going to try to collapse the outside, but the tackles are quite good. So I expect them to actually get held away, and they're going to be 1 or 2 runs where they're probably going to allow Allen to the outside. He's going to get his yards. That's just the way it's going to work. But what I do think you're going to start seeing is interior middle linebacker blitzes right up the middle. So I think you're going to see Greenlaw. I think you're going to see Singleton. I think you're going to see a couple safeties, and they're going to get home and they're going to bring them down.
You're talking about delayed blitz.
Believe it or not,
yes.
A Chiefs fan just freaking showed me the playoff stats for
I saw that
between Mahomes and freaking Allen, and I'll take Allen all day long on that shit. I mean, can you put that up there, please? The Chiefs fan for life. Put that one up there.
Mahomes. Playoff games, 105 passer rating, 62 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Allen's 14 games, 102 passer, 26 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. 26.
62. Okay. No, not 62.
Well, Mahomes has been in the playoffs a lot. Is this going? Is he talking head to head or
No,
just
it's 26
No,
touchdowns.
he's talking overall, but
Okay.
he's talking overall on one piece, but not the other piece. So Allen, 14 games, 102 passer rating, 26-4. That is freaking amazing in the players.
I just don't see, other than Josh and maybe Cook, I don't see anybody on the Bills getting the better of the Broncos defense. Like, Cook is fantastic. He'll be the best running back in that game.
The only thing, I mean, with the wide receivers that are down, the only thing the Broncos got to worry about is Kincaid. Because I will tell you what, this dude will beat you up the middle like Kelsey does. If you let him. And Dawson will get you a first down on the sideline all day long. So
Dude, the Broncos linebacker.
All I'm saying this is going to be one of those games. Which quarterback has the football in their hands with 2 minutes left is going to decide this football game.
So there's one guy that I need to look up, and this is a guy that's a name that most people forgotten, but he was an outside linebacker conversion for the Broncos because they couldn't figure out how to use him to the best of his ability because he was a bit of a tweener. But he's a big dude who's fast, and that is what's his name? I want him cut, but we ended up keeping him because he got hurt. But it's probably going to be his last season with the Broncos. He's an inside backer right now. He converted back to inside backer, and I think he's back from injury and likely going to be able to play. I think it's Drew Sanders, if I'm not mistaken. And he's a tall, big, quick guy. If he's like 3/4 of the way where he was before, he would make for a very good dude to cover tight end at the linebacker position. He would make for a great like hybrid heavy set, like when you have the heavier sets rather than going to nickel or dime, going to like the base style packages, where you'd have him cover a tight end rather than say like a safety, for example. And he's a good dude to put in that, that kind of thing. But he gets hurt a lot.
I have a question for you, Rich.
Yep.
Do you feel comfortable if the game is down to 1 score and Josh Allen has the ball 2 minutes with 2 timeouts on their own 20? Do you feel comfortable with that?
I do. I do actually.
Okay.
I do. Because
I feel like it's going to come down to who has the ball last.
If this is one of those scenarios where Vance Joseph right now is in an interview process and he wants to prove himself, yes, I do. Because I think Vance Joseph is basically 1 foot out the door right now for a head coaching position.
Wasn't he your head coach like a few years ago?
Great day at practice. Great day at practice. Great day at practice. Great day at practice. 5-win team, but great day at practice.
I just can't see him as a head coach again. He's
not that guy, bro.
No, but he's learned a lot, and he's always gotten a lot out of his players, and he's a player's coach. And I think that makes for a good head coach, as so long as he's learned his lessons from the nonsense that he tried to pull as a head coach before. Now, we'll wait and see. Does he have the mental mindset to basically say, I messed up and now I'm going to do better? We'll see. I'm seeing some mistakes on the defensive side of the ball.
I got nothing
that are leaving me with some pause. We'll just put it that way. But overall, I do think that we could do that with the guys we've gotten back now, and Vance Joseph as the defensive coordinator. Greenlaw is actually a pretty big difference maker because he's a coverage guy that would bode well for our coverage of tight ends as well as stopping the run. Singleton, as much as other Broncos fans like to crap all over him, he is like wicked instinctual in terms of how he plays the game. And Broncos fans don't give him enough credit for what he does throughout the game. They just like to point like the one or two plays where he makes a mistake. And then they basically try to extrapolate that as the entire game. But when you actually look at what he's doing, he is way better than what most Broncos fans give him credit for. He's also tough as nails.
I'm sticking my score, but I could see like by halftime, I could see the Broncos up like I could see them up, 14-0 at half. I can see something like that, and I could see where it forces Josh to have to make plays, and
they better be ahead. I'm telling you, if they're not ahead, that's going to be a problem at halftime.
Yeah, I agree. And if the Broncos aren't ahead, what is going to be really interesting if Sean can actually restrain himself. I'm not sure if he can though, because this is a Sean Payton problem. But to resist the temptation to go pure pass.
Mm-hmm.
The way to come back actually against the Bills is to do the exact opposite, right? Which is to basically like drive the ball running down the field and get yourself into the end zone and basically take chunk time off the clock. So if you're down by, say, a score, drive yourself down the field through largely running the ball, wearing them down, chewing out the clock. You're doing two things, right? You're getting yourself back in the ball game, but then you're also keeping Josh Allen on the bench. It's kind of like the old, like, how do you try to beat Mahomes? Well, ideally, you keep him on the bench. That was better said than done back when he was in his heyday, because the Chiefs had such a well-rounded team that you were done basically either way. but that's how I think you can put to bed or put to rest the Bills. I do think, honestly and truly, that the Bills are, unfortunately for Josh Allen, because I actually really like the dude. The dude's awesome. Like he is such a great. He just seems like a genuinely nice person. And he also is definitely a skilled quarterback. My issue is that I just think they have too many injuries to overcome.
That's my issue too.
I just think that they just have too many injuries to overcome for my Broncos that are coming back healthier almost than they have been the entire season, with the exception of two players. That's J.K. Dobbins and Brandon Jones.
Yeah, it seems like you'd have to make the AFC Championship for Dobbins.
Yeah,
right.
But yes, exactly. But aside from those two players, we're getting other guys back that were not available to us throughout the majority of the season, and I think that that's going to make a bit of a difference, more so than what a lot of non-Broncos fans and also some Broncos fans that are just maybe not giving credit or assessing things as analytically as they should are actually giving credit for. Drew Sanders, I hate him, by the way. I think he's an awful player. I don't want him on my team next year. But the one thing that I will give the dude credit for is he's got this like tweener level speed that goes really well against quick running backs as well as pass catching tight ends. He's just got this like interesting hybrid skill set, but he has no real instincts. He's just got the coverage ability. So he's a guy that can run sideline to sideline, and as long as he stays healthy, he can at least do that for
you. There was somebody that asked me, it's like, you take Josh Allen, implant him in one football team, does he go to the Super Bowl? Which team would it be?
I mean, put him on the Broncos. So it'd be a dynasty.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Look, and that people would think that's a slight at
kind of like Bo Nick's gone, right?
No, I'm just saying because O-line health, Broncos have been relatively a very healthy team. Who else? I mean, you could put him on a lot of teams, to be honest with you.
No, but it's put him on one team and he goes Super Bowl.
Oh my God, Rams.
Rams, yes, yeah, I could see Rams.
Yes,
I could see Rams. Yeah, I could see
Stafford's fucking amazing. Don't get me wrong, but that's
Even
different.
he wouldn't survive the offensive lines
No.
in L.A., brother.
Look, the one thing with Ellen is he is a moose. Like the dude's a moose. He's a big dude.
He's smaller than Herbert, by the way, but he just takes on contact. He's like built to want to hit somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I said if you put Josh Allen on the Colts, everybody dies.
I love the Colts offensive line.
So I'm just saying.
The downfall of the Colts has to do with obviously Daniel Jones, but that's another team that looks like they're going to bounce back next season. You would think, right?
But I just said they were all going Rams, all this other shit. I'm like, just put him on the Colts. He's the Colts quarterback.
I mean, some of these quarterbacks, you got to look like, who is it? Stafford?
That's a win.
Like Stafford, I think somebody said, and someone can correct me on this, like he didn't win his first playoff game like the first 10 years or something.
No, he played for Detroit, dude.
Yeah, and then he goes to the Rams and just flourishes. And so did, I mean, to be fair, so did Goff, but I mean, that's Ben Johnson right there. But
right.
And I mean, look what he's doing in the Rams. I mean, Detroit was just such a god awful organization for a long time. It seems like they've got their act together. But that's another guy. I like Josh Allen.
Ardell just said if the Raiders hire Brian Daboll, I will be butthurt.
Yeah, I don't think.
I don't think that's the.
Well, they may not bring him in as your head coach, but why exactly? And I am curious, by the way, Ardell, genuinely. Why would he be such a bad OC if you're bringing in a young offensive-minded quarterback when you've seen him level up?
He kind of resurrected Allen's career.
I know why.
No, but he leveled up two separate quarterbacks in both stints he was at.
But I know why.
Why?
Oh, is it time for me to talk about Raiders coaching candidates?
Yeah. Matt Nagy's not getting hired, KC Chiefs fan.
No, fuck Nagy.
He's not getting hired anywhere. He won't get hired anywhere. You're not.
Bye.
Okay, so
forced to take him back.
So let's quickly just touch on the Raiders coaching candidates, and then we will do a roundtable of the Broncos Bills rapid fire score. So let's dive into that.
Right.
Okay, well, rapid fire.
Damn, I have a book here. Okay. What's already happened is Davis Webb's been interviewed, Broncos QB coach.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Nagy, I don't even like the fact that he was in the building. Vance Joseph, yep, I'm good with that. And Kubiak. Wild card for me was Kingsbury is out there just floating around and nobody knows what he's doing.
He doesn't seem stable.
So we don't have to worry about a Rooney Rule because Patrick Graham is going to be interviewed for the head coaching job. So it doesn't even matter with the Rooney Rule. So, and then I put in there at DZ Wilson 57 because I need to contact you, bro. Because you are the hardest person ever to contact. So, all right. So anyway, all right. So first, with all that shit I just said, Signetti needs a phone call.
Oh no! Damn it! I knew you were going to go there.
No, not what you think though. He needs a phone call, not for an interview. He just needs a phone call and say, "Hey, come to Vegas. Let's talk about this shit after the night." Right? I want you to tell me how this dude operates, how this dude needs to be coached, this and that and the other thing. However, if you would like to coach something here as an offensive coordinator or offensive assistant or whatever it may be, that's available to you.
You got to find out how much he's making at Indiana, though. Those coaches make big bucks.
$98.3 million over the next 8 years.
Oh God.
So
that just answers it. Yeah, that's crazy. But no, I agree. Yeah, call him. Why not? I like Kubiak, man. I like Kubiak for you guys.
So Cignetti, when the national championship games end, he is able to negotiate more money from Indiana after that. Just so you know, even though he's under contract for 8 years. So weird shit. College football is a fucking shit show. Anyway, so my guess is Cignetti's going nowhere. He's 64 years old, dude. He ain't going anywhere. But here's what would be cool. You bring him in the room and you ask him, how do you deal with men's? How do you do that? What receivers does he need? What protection does he need? What is all this shit? Just bring him in and just say, hey, I'm just asking. Because we have the first pick. Who do you need? Who would be the best offensive line coach? How will we do that? Any of your staff that can come down here and help us out? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you do that shit?
What makes Mendoza tick? Pick his brain.
What makes him tick?
Yeah, get some dudes. I mean, look, maybe the Raiders can poach. Maybe the Raiders poach a few coaches off the Indiana team.
Staff. Yeah.
Staff, and they come over.
I'm telling you what, man. That would be a great freaking meeting. Call it a meeting, not an interview.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and what will that do for Cignetti? Because every year he gets to negotiate his contract. He just got an interview with an NFL team. He can negotiate more money next year. And, oh, by the way, he has Fernando Mendoza's little brother as the successor for next year.
Does he really?
Yes.
His little brother is the QB2.
Oh, wow. I just saw that Drake May is going back to college. So, I don't know who's going to be the number 2 pick now. I have no clue.
But that's my thing. It's like Cignetti's getting another Mendoza next year.
Technically he is. We'll see if they're on the same par with each other.
Oh, they are actually pretty damn good, both of them.
That's going to be wild if both brothers are. Oh, Jesus.
So here's another thing.
He might as well. He's going to the Jets. I mean, there you go. He might as well.
I think it's more of a meeting with Cignetti than it would be an interview. It's like, hey, look, we're thinking about getting your freaking star quarterback, number 1 pick. Tell us what we need to know. What coach do we need to hire? What do we need to do? Blah, blah, blah. It'd be stupid if the Raiders don't make that phone call, in my opinion.
Some of the stories I've heard that what NFL teams do digging into players is pretty wild. They will talk to his PE teacher from 6th grade and ask him what did this kid do? Do you remember? It's wild what they know and what they ask. And
yeah, it's this dude was freaking a 6-year-old and just freaking blowing my mind on the work ethic. You know what I mean? But the thing is, with Cignetti, it's kind of like what makes him tick. tell me what I need to do in this organization if I draft him number one. What do I need to put in place? What kind of coach I need? It'd be stupid for him not to talk to Signetti. So that being said, so we're talking about coaches for the Raiders. So
go ahead. That's Spytek and Brady that, are probably going to be doing all that stuff, right?
Oh, sure enough. But, I mean, that needs to be a conversation. With a dude like Mendoza, you need to talk to Signet. You have to talk to him. What makes him tick? What, if we draft him number one overall, what do we need to do to make him better than what you've already done?
All right.
You know what I mean? I think would be smart, right? It's
one
a
of
business.
One of those ways is they probably take aspects of his offense that he's currently playing under, and the Raiders adopt parts of that to kind of, help his transition.
What kind of coaching gets it? You know what I mean? What kind of coaching? Do you like poke at him, or do you like be nice to him? What kind of that kind of shit? Yeah.
I mean, because I've heard stories. That's funny that you said that. I've heard stories where there's guys currently in the league who the head coach is not allowed to talk to them. Believe it or not.
Right. Yeah.
You guys heard about Kyler Murray, right? Where the head coach wouldn't even talk to him. He had to pass everything to the quarterback coach to talk.
I don't blame him. Kyler Murray's a freaking turd.
Right? Yes, I agree.
So I don't blame the head coach going, dude, you're going to get me fired, bro. That's what I would say to him. You're going to get me fired because you suck. Yeah. You don't work hard. You don't, you know what I mean? You're like this tall and everything else. You have to work hard at your size. Look at Bryce Young. That's what he does. He works hard. And he gets better. You don't. So, after the Signetti thing, I was like, okay, so three big things actually happened, which one I don't think is a big deal. Stefanski, whatever. That's not a Raider thing. Tomlin, it's likely he won't coach next year at all.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants to.
I don't think he will. They made a mutual agreement. The crazy part is the Steelers have only had 3 coaches since 1969. That's what. And earlier I said, "Damn it, you guys freaking killed my freaking." Anyway, I said the Raiders covered that in one season. 3 coaches in one season. We covered that in one season, and they've had 3 coaches since 1969. That is crazy.
You've got kids growing up with these coaches, man.
Yes, exactly.
There's an entire generation of Steelers fans that will have only ever known a single coach.
Yep.
Yes.
Ever.
Exactly.
Ever.
Exactly. And that's a change. That's huge. I don't know where the Steelers are going to go from here, to be perfectly honest with you. That's crazy. The Rooneys are going to be like, fuck, we got to have another 20-year coach. You know what I mean? To keep this going. So here's the thing I think for the Raiders. And damn it, don't freaking hang me on this. Okay. If it's Clint Kubiak, I still want an OC like Davis Webb. That way, Kubiak can be the head coach as an OC. Or maybe Mike McDaniel. Because typically when head coaches get fired, they go back to the coordinator role. Or Everett from the Panthers. Do you even know who that is? As a DC. I want to explain. Look, I don't follow the Panthers as most Raider fans do, but my wife's a huge Panther fan. This dude Everett has nobody on that defense. And they actually freaking are a great defense.
You realize that he was almost the Broncos defensive coordinator, right?
What's that?
He was almost the Broncos defensive coordinator.
He was. And then when Sean Payton showed up, he fired him.
Well, no, he was
he got let go.
He was poached. So he was a positional coach. He was never a DC, right? He was a positional coach.
He was a DC because the DC was already fired.
Yeah.
He was the intern.
Yeah, and that dude is gonna go places in the league, like, for sure.
Richie, who do you think is the betting favorite to be the Raiders? Hearing Kubiak, but one of my sources that I just went on, he's the betting favorite for the Falcons head coaching job right now. They think Matt Ryan's going to hire Clint Kubiak, which I think it was interesting because that was the name that I was hearing all over the Raiders.
That's their number one freaking hire. However, I have a sneaky pick for you. Sneaky.
For you guys, right?
For the Raiders.
Yeah. If the DC type head coach, I would lean into mentor in a DC role, or even keep Rob Leonard as the DC if mentor is the head coach.
I would be sick, nauseous seeing some of my players go to Vegas. Oh my God. Oh my God. We have 23 free agents.
This brings me into who would be lured by Mendoza for OC. I think Kingsbury would accept the OC role for Mendoza.
I can see that because he is kind of like what he did it with Jaden, and then before Jaden Daniels was that Murray? No.
Now, here's the thing.
Who else did he
I
work with?
think if our head coach is going to be a DC, it'll be Robert Saleh.
Yep.
Believe it or not. Yep. It just is aiming that direction, but it still goes to that. And my thing is this. What it's going to come down to is we have number one overall pick.
Yep.
Our head coach is going to determine where we're going with that pick, right? So my thought process is if it's Kubiak, there's no question it's going to be Mendoza. But if you get a DC type head coach, I don't care if it's Flores. I don't care if it's freaking Chris Shula. I don't give a shit who it is. I don't care. I mean, the thing about it is you get OCs across the board.
Kingsbury, Kingsbury makes sense.
Most of the OCs are not going to laterally move to another coordinator position. So that makes it a little bit.
Kingsbury went from Kyler Murray, then to Caleb Williams, and then to Jaden Daniels. So he's kind of been that young, mentoring these young quarterbacks. I mean, he did it with Caleb at USC, but that would probably be something the organization would want to pair with their young quarterback, is a guy that's familiar with that.
Did you hear that Kingsbury asked to walk away from the Commanders?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
So, from what I understand, a couple dudes Don't know. I trust him. They said he did not like the way that Jaden Daniels was developed. So he walked away.
Like developed in college? Because, I mean, he had a big part of that in the
NFL. Developed in the NFL. He did not like the way they put him in harm's way and that type of stuff. His Kingsbury's offense is not a full-out run with the quarterback stuff. He's more of a McVay style deal, play action, freaking roll with the RPO, and if it's available, you go. But they were making him run a lot last year. It got him hurt a lot, and so what I'm gathering for what Kingsbury said was he walked away from it because he didn't like the way he was being developed. I don't know. To be honest with you, that is not a fucking, that statement right there is not false. Dan Orlovsky, I'm not saying it'll be this year. At some point, Dan Orlovsky's going to be OC somewhere. I promise you that.
He needs to remember. He needs to first learn how to play quarterback first.
Not run out of the.
No, most quarterbacks are not OCs.
No.
No. Backup quarterbacks are like Kubiak.
They are, and the reason. Yes, and the reason is that backup quarterbacks had to actually learn the position, the X's and the O's, because they were always subpar in terms. They were always subpar in terms of talent, so they had to learn all of the other things to get to the level that they were at, and then try to use. They had to try to use what's between the ears. Real quick on that, actually, and this is super interesting, and perhaps a good transitionary piece to kind of close out the show with in our quick rapid fire is Shannon Sharp interviewed John Elway perhaps for the first time on his show on Club Shay Shay, and probably the most intelligent thing I've ever heard from John Elway was he said, I would have made a horrible quarterbacks coach or coach in general. And he said, when I was playing, I just kind of like knew I could do things. Right? Like he's like, and that makes total sense. First off, John Elway had a cannon attached to his arm. Like it was ridiculous. Like it was ridiculous. And so
several broken ribs on receivers in practice that didn't have shoulder pads on.
So like when you have a dude that can throw the ball that well and that hard, there's just certain things that he can just naturally do that someone else can't. So he's going to be like, what do you mean? You just kind of like take 2 steps to the right and then like as you're falling down, throw it 65 yards.
Right. Just do that.
Yeah, just do it. Like just do that. Yeah. And like and then the average guy's like, dude, I can't throw it 45 yards on a good day.
Right.
And so that's the difference between like a guy like Elway and a guy, the average quarterback even in the NFL, right? And so like as Elway said, he goes, I just knew to do things. Like I could just do the thing that I needed to do. And so I would make a horrible coach because like I could just do something. I didn't know how I just did it. I just did it. And
communicating stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Born talent you can't teach.
Right. And so whereas like Gary Kubiak was like, no, dude, I had to learn how to plant my feet. I had to learn how to shift my weight. I had to learn how to like like I had to learn how to like do all these things. And then of course Elway's like, either I just did that stuff naturally and didn't know it, or B, I just had so much God-given talent, it just didn't matter. Right? Like,
Well, like Ben Johnson. Like Ben Johnson. There was a clip the other day. Ben Johnson says, Caleb, look, all you have to do is turn to your left, look here, know that your receiver is going to be here.
Yes.
Turn and throw the damn thing. You don't have to know.
Yes.
He's going to be there. You know, I love Ben Johnson said that to him. He's going to be there.
Do we get any hirings?
He's going to be there.
Yeah.
If he's not there, it's going to be a penalty because
he's being held. He's being held. Yeah, yes. Exactly.
He's going to
get any head coaches hired by next show?
What's that?
Do you think we get any head coaching hires by next show?
No. I don't think it's going to happen until after the national championship game, to be honest with you. Because, to be honest with you, the Miami head coach is probably looking to go into the NFL.
Cristobal?
Yeah, Cristobal's probably headed back to the NFL. So I don't see a lot of movement in the next week. I see a lot of interviews.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, until we get to the Super Bowl, to be honest with you, we don't know who's available because you can't mess with the dudes. The only reason Kubiak was touchable is because they had a bye week.
True.
Yeah, so.
I think by Friday you're gonna have one team hire the guy that they like if they're not in like the playoffs this deep. I think they're gonna bring in their guy. So I think by Friday of like, so you have the, like, for the next show, I think by the Friday after the next show there'll be maybe 2 coaches that'll be hired, and that's because the teams like guys that aren't in the playoffs. And by the way, there's a method to that madness as well, which is if you bring in your coach that early, then that coach can start like putting together and making the calls to get their staff in. And I actually think that that's a smart move from those organizations. However, on the flip side of that is if you're a head coach, if you're an organization that actually prefers and wants a guy that's in the playoffs still, you're going to simply just hold off and wait. So I think they're going to have like 2, maybe 3 head coaches that'll start getting knocked off on like Thursday and Friday. And then I think you're going to have the remainder that'll be like the week after, where some of the coordinators that they like that are still in the playoffs that have been interviewed, then you'll get the next wave. So it'll be like after the next show and then perhaps after the show after that kind of thing. But I do think we've kind of gone on long enough. I'd like to thank all of the folks for joining us tonight. We're going to quickly close out the show with a bit of a rapid fire in our score predictions. DZ, let's give your score prediction one more time for the Broncos-Bills game, because that is my team is the only team currently right now there. What's your score for the game?
Got it tight. Super tight. That reflects the odds, and it flipped from Bills being 1.5 point favorites to now 1.5 point road dogs. Yeah, I've got this game going into overtime. That's my hot take. I've got the Broncos taking it, after both teams have possession. I think the Broncos get a field goal and win this 23-20.
Okay. Now, man, what do you got, What do you got for us here in terms of score?
I don't think it's going to go that high. I don't think it's going to overtime. I think it's going to be. Damn it! I said a number earlier, and just don't think it's the right number. So, I think it's 2016. Bills.
Okay, 2016 Bills. Okay.
So,
I
I
think Josh Allen gets the ball at the end of the ball game, and it's done deal.
Richie?
So I have two predictions for my score. I think that this is going to be. I think Sean Payton's going to pull some tricks out here in this game. The last two games that we played against both the Chiefs and the Chargers, he has intentionally done some things to obfuscate his offensive game plans and not put that much on film. He's intentionally kind of put out very basic versions of offensive concepts without any additional oomph, if that makes sense. And I think that that's going to cause some problems for the Bills defense in terms of what Sean Payton's going to put on the field. My score prediction is 24-19 Broncos. I do think the Broncos take this one. I do also think that this is a run-heavy version of my Broncos with jumbo sets and other things involved as well. And my last part of this prediction is I think with that score, I believe McDermott also gets fired.
Yeah, I tend to agree as well.
Bills lose, McDermott's gone.
No, I don't necessarily think that Bills lose, McDermott's gone, but I think if it's 24-19 where you have a bit of a spread where it's more than like a last minute, chance field goal.
No, McDermott's gone.
Okay. All right.
My buddy's a Bills fan. He's like, no, there's no way. If this dude doesn't make the freak go to the Super Bowl, he is done.
Cool.
And this is the year that it needs to be done too, because
it's got to be done this year.
Yep. Yeah. So, anyways, my prediction is I think my Broncos win this one. I think that the Broncos also see this as a bit of a revenge game. So unlike the other games we see the Broncos play in the last couple, I think that this has a little extra fire to it because the Broncos did not like how they got knocked out of the playoffs, or at least, they didn't like how the Bills beat them the last go round. And so I think this is a bit of a revenge game for my Denver Broncos from last season. That's another kind of added wrinkle to this is a bit of a revenge game, if you will, for the Broncos. And I think that needs to be factored into it as well. Either way, I am holding true. I'm going to stick with it. I think it's 24-19 Broncos, something in that general range at least. And I do think that certainly pushes McDermott out the door there in Buffalo. He is definitely, in my opinion, kind of the John Fox of the Buffalo there, where they're going to want to move on to find someone that can get them across the finish line. So,
I guess that's a good way to go off. Raiders! For all those dudes that are asking me to do it.
Yeah. So
I will tell you what, Richie, this is where you're gonna know if Bo Nix is the dude or not.
I agree. I agree. This is basically the
shot.
Yeah, this is the nut up or shut up game, right? This is the one where he's got to basically do the thing. He's got to show that he can be that guy. He's got to show that he can continue to do the types of things he did against the Giants, right? He's got to show that he can make that progression. I totally agree, 100%. Yes, I also agree with this as well. RJ Harvey has much to work on, and
yes,
we will leave it at that. So, anywho, guys,
upfield, dude.
Yes, just run that way. Run
Look,
that
Rich.
way.
For fuck's sake, dude, you're big.
Dude, I haven't been in Montreal for a little bit, but I am, as you can tell from my name, the A stands for Canada. So Randy and Broncos, give me a follow on X. It's always great to meet fellow Canadian Broncos fans.
Some snow Mexicans coming out.
You will also see in the future, I have a Canadian Broncos flag that I'll have posted behind me that I had custom printed. That's going to be coming back as well.
Please do not show that to me. I don't want to see that.
Of course you do. Why? Who doesn't? Anywho,
Of course I do.
ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you all for joining the show tonight. It's been fantastic. We've had a great little run here.
Much love, brother.
All right.
Salute.
So, anyways, guys, thank you very much for joining us this evening. We've had a great show. Obviously, I want the Broncos to win, but I also think that we have the team to win this particular game, in my opinion. Thanks, Nav. We'll go ahead and see what we can do. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, until next week, where the West Side is the best side. Peace.
Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Tempo's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast's racking up the flight miles.